Welcome to That One Time in Business with me, your host, Casey Renee, a creative director and brand strategist who has 1,000,001 stories and lessons to share. Now remember, these are our teachable moments with a twist and a laugh. So let's get started. Okay, so boom, you already know we got a guest today. We got to keep it going because, again, I tell you, my stories, I'm bad, but I can't be that damn bad two seasons by myself. So today we have Justin Carey. I have been in his DMs because, first of all, fellow designer, brand designer, graphic designer, the work is dope. And I'm like, I know damn well he got some stories that the same way I got stories. I just feel like he has to, not because it's not good work or anything, just because the quality is so good. I just know that there's a hater somewhere. I just know there's a hater somewhere. So, Justin, go ahead and tell me, what is one time in business when you was just like, ugh?
First of all, Casey, thank you for having me.
Of course.
I'm so excited to finally be here with you. And first time of us actually meeting.
I know.
Talking for face to face. Man, first time in business that really was like, honestly, what the hell did I get myself into? A few years ago, I got offered the opportunity to work on a massive rebrand for an educational institute. There you go.
No names.
No name. Which was a phenomenal opportunity. And the way it was presented to me seemed so super exciting. And Casey, I'm sure you know, as a designer, sometimes it just takes that one opportunity that's going to set you up for the future.
Yep.
And I thought that this particular opportunity was that, which it was amazing.
Okay.
And, of course, I worked with one person directly who was phenomenal to work with, but ended up working across, board of executives and things of that nature. And it became more and more and more and more. And we were on a very tight deadline and schedule. And mind you, this is when I'm working a corporate 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7.
So you're already balancing it. Oof.
So the balance of the two was really difficult. And I will admit, one of my struggles as a creative is, number one, being able to say no.
Yeah.
To certain opportunities, and number two, balance. And as when your day job is your breadwinner, you got to make sure that that's being taken care of. But you also have these opportunities, which this opportunity came with a $10,000 budget. There was no way I could say no.
We love to see a comma. Fuck up the commas.
Commas and zeros. Come on. And so, basically, when so many more people started getting involved, from the president of the institute to board of directors and things of that nature, this started becoming more and more and more. And the person that I was working with directly, I'm like, okay, I started my anxiety and I started to get overwhelmed. And so, with that, as creatives as we do, and I'm not going to say that I'm the only one because I know others do, we go ghost because it's like this becomes too much. I actually got really depressed because this was an opportunity that I wanted to have so much fun with and ended up not. And this is one of the times that I question, is this even what I'm really supposed to be doing?
I tell people all the time, when I tell my clients, I'm like, I'm trying to get in the habit of training my clients that I cannot be on a lot of phone calls. It does something to my psyche. And I feel like a lot of my peers, and you just kind of normalize me, because I'll be like, y'all, I cannot be on a rack of calls. Email me, especially when it's a call that could have been an email. That already bothers me, because you have a flow going. You got to create a flow. And if everybody's putting in 2 cents, and he's just like, oh, come on, stop with the calls. Let me at least finish it, then make your edits, then tell me. I don't do well at it. So I definitely understand.
Absolutely. And a lot of that was happening. And with me, I don't have an issue with talking one person face to face, but they wanted to start having all these meetings with all these people so that they could offer their insight. So now you want me to sit up here and listen to what you got to say, what you got to think, what you got to say. And this isn't just with this particular opportunity. This has happened with other people as well. But I'm the same way. shoot me an email. I do so much better if you put it in writing because I have something that I can refer back to. If you say something to be face to face, I might forget. Because as you and I talking right now, I'm thinking about my target list.
No, I get like that too. And also, of course, you learn the more here's a gym, the longer you're in business, the paper trails. So, I mean, that's already a thing. But then on top of that, like, I might not be creative the moment we hop off the call. Usually I don't. I don't run back to a project when we get off a call. So it's like, if you put in an email, I can see it and reference it for later. Because if we're just going off the phone call and I don't touch it again until the next day when I actually feel in the zone to touch it, then it's like I know I missed something, and in return makes me look like I'm wrong or that's bad. So even after we're done with the call, I'll be like, okay, that was cool. Can you also go ahead and put this in an email for me? And I can hear them under their breath like, but I don't give a damn. You want your stuff done right, you go do the phone call. So I mean, it is what it is. But okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But no, you all good. That is one gem. Paper trails always. But number two, I would say one of the things I learned many, many lessons from this one opportunity. And I think from this, because number one, I ended up losing some money from that $10,000 budget because there were things that I just wasn't able to complete that the Institute ended up having to seek out other freelancers, and people said that they can get their project done. And I totally understood. But because of that, number one, lost money. So that's one thing. And losing money will help you get all your shit together. And so number two, as I was mentioning before, someone as a creative that deals with anxiety and things of that nature, I don't like hard conversation. This is one opportunity that has now forced me to level up. If you're going to be in business, you got to my mama told me you got to put your big boy drawers on and you got to learn to communicate and really discuss and talk with people. This is how I'm feeling. This is what, I need from you all and this, that, and the other. And I was able to have that conversation. And, after that, it's hard when you got to step in the water, right? But it's like you come out of it like, ooh, that wasn't even so bad. And you feel like
it's
lifted off of you.
And you need that though. And it's like where it's like you got to do it for the well-being of your business to keep you afloat. Like you have to have those conversations. I used to do a lot of what's it called? Like slide shit. I'm just call it what it is. I used to do a lot of slide shit where it's like, so say you owe me money or whatever. I would just like continuously send you your invoice. So that way I didn't have to say anything to you, but you kind of know it's there because you see it. Now I call, I'm like, hey, your invoice was due. Like, what are we doing? What can I expect? Like, talk to me about something. You know what I'm saying? Communicate with me because this is my bread and butter. I don't have a 9-to-5, so it's those conversations where they are hard at first. Cause I promise, even like down to like, if a client doesn't like an option that I love and I think it's better for them, I used to do this slide shit. I mean, I kind of still do this one, but I like put it on Instagram and I let everybody gas that shit up. And then I'll be like, instead of just having the conversation, like, okay, look, for your brand, I've really researched some things. Like I really feel as the expert that I am, cause that's what we are. Me and you can both equally say, I've seen your work. I've seen the caliber. I've seen your client. You're an expert. So we can both say like, no, this is what I think will work for what you're doing. And those conversations used to scare the shit out of me.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you say that because, and I'm not going to say that I'm 100% like a master at now having conversations with people now, but even in like my day job, I'm having conversations with, executives and directors and things of that nature. And I'm just like, hey, what you just said, it took a lot for me to actually realize, bro, you good. And like, you are everything. Like, you was gassing me up. And like, I had to learn that. And so the moment you step into your own like ingenious and you really like believe that for yourself, it's easier for you to like actually talk to people and be like, hey, this is what I do. And I wasn't there at that time though, when I was working with this particular organization. I wasn't there because I was like, okay, who y'all think I am that y'all want to give me $10,000 to work on this massive project. I wasn't there. They saw in me what I never saw in myself, which is another gem. If you are doing something that, number one, you love, and other people see the passion in you, you literally got to believe in yourself for real.
You do. You have to.
People are only going to gas you up for so long. Like, they're just going to stop. They're going to be like, okay, if you don't see it for yourself, then I quit.
Yeah, my love language is words of affirmation. So I'm really
and
big.
I think most creatives probably is.
Yeah, I have to affirm myself a lot. I did an interview on another podcast, and I basically said that, I have to affirm myself. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll go on my Pinterest, I'll look at my old work. I have to do things to remind myself, like, this is a journey, you're doing good, look at your growth. Like, I go back and look. I'm a type on my timeline for Instagram with my work. I go all the way back all the time, just because it's like I have to remember that I might not be exactly where I want to be, but I'm moving. This post looks better. This camera like I posted a reel yesterday. The camera looked better than the one before. So even though it's small, it's better, and it's those little things. Yep. It's the little things.
And it's funny you say that. I do that all the time too. And that is a good thing for us as creatives, anybody in life in general, but us as creatives in general. When you look back, you're like, man, I've looked back. I recently just did what you said. I went through my Instagram, and I rarely post any of my work. But sometimes I'll go through like my computer. I save all my files on Dropbox. I'll randomly go on and look at some things that I've designed in the past. And I'm like, dang, you got a whole billboard in Times Square right now. Like, who can say that they've done that with, first of all, no formal education at all as it relates to design? No training, nothing but just me on the computer, not having nothing else to do. And now me not having nothing else to do has become an entire career.
I tell you, creatives, we tinker and we problem solve a lot different. But I love that for us, and I love that about us. That was one of my caveats with this this AI stuff that's going on. And I was like, I'm not worried, because we tinker different. Like, we apply it different. It's just different. So when you said that you were like depressed, what besides the conversation, were there any other points in the project? Was it like the turnaround? How were they on time? Was there anything else that kind of just made you hit that wall?
Yeah, definitely the turnaround. So, for example, I think we were stuck on the logo design. Like, once we got that solidified, everything else was able to get to moving. And when I say everything else, that encompassed website and, all kind of marketing collateral and things like that. That was easy. But it was like, this logo? Because there was all about, well, what's the messaging behind the logo? And what are people going to feel? And what are they going to think? And then it became adding color to it. And then we added color, and it's like, well, now that we've added these bold colors, let's go back to that particular design. So all of those things, just the back and forth, for me became very frustrating. For me. And yeah, that's about all I can say for that one.
Especially if you just feel like, you know what you're doing. So this was, for context, this was like at the start, or is this like in the middle of your career, the height of your career?
I would say this is around start going into when I was starting to advance quite a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had already had quite a few opportunities to do some branding work, but never to this level. So at this point, this was now the largest that I had ever executed any kind of design project like this.
So does it take time now? Do you have it where it's like that kind of not formulated, but like switched your sense of time where you're like, okay, I can only, like, I know some designers, they don't take on rush projects. Like, that's just not them. I know some designers who don't believe in VIP days. Like, they have it where they need to be immersed in it. Like, I know for a logo, I can sit there and I'll say, yeah, a logo design, that takes me about 2 weeks. That's not true. A logo design takes me a day or two. But you have to, within that 2 weeks, we have to just find the day.
Don't tell our secrets, Casey.
We have to find the day. I know. When you have the groove, when you have that energy, that burst.
Let me tell you, I sure tell my clients, please allow 4 to 6 weeks. Now, I know for sure it ain't going to take that long. And I generally assure them, it won't take that long. But for me, I don't like to be rushed. I've been in those moments many, many, many times before where I've been, number one, because you feel, I don't want to say chasing a dollar, but you know your work is so good and you're like, yeah. And rarely with clients do I ever have massive, feedback and things like that. I must say, like, most of my clients are pretty easy to work with. So, yeah. But the timing of it all, I can no longer allow myself to feel what I did then. And that this has nothing to do with them because they told me this is the timing that we're working with. Do you agree? And I said, yes. That's another thing. You have to learn how let your yes be yes, your no's be no. And if that doesn't work, communicate those things. So I've now been open with, even with people I work with today, even at work, I might get a deadline at my corporate job. And I'm like, who came up with this time?
Did y'all checking balances? Did y'all know who did this? No, I get it. But I did learn from an experience of like, when I get overwhelmed by a lot of revisions, and I'm like you, I don't get a lot, but when I do, I even get mad because we at the point where we think our shit don't stink. We're like, what revisions? This is gold. Like, what do you mean?
Ain't no revision.
Ain't none. Make the logo pop. It's popcorn, bitch.
Popping already. Right.
Like, I don't know what you want me to do. But one thing I had to do was I have a COO now. Because I don't know if you ever saw Issa Rae did this interview and she was just like, I cannot be creative running a business. Like, I'm not supposed to run a business. It's just too much. And I had to sit on that. I really had to sit back and was like, yo, running a business is not fun. Like, I like that my name is on it. Like, I love that. But I'm like, I don't want to talk to these people. Like you said, we don't want to talk to these people. I just want somebody to funnel what you need done and give it to me. So I ended up hiring a COO. She was the account manager at first, but now like she's ahead of everything. And I'm just like, it puts me in a better space to be creative. And I really think if I didn't see that, because I could not figure out the disconnect. I knew it was a disconnect, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I think that, you know how a book comes on time or like an interview or a clip or affirmation, something just comes on time. I was in the process of like breaking down my teams, like the people who contracted with me, and to not to like let them go, but to just rebuild it up, but like what that really would look like. And I saw that clip for that interview and she was just like, nah, I gotta be creative. And I was like, that's my problem. Like, and ever since then, it really has led me down a better path. So besides the, what's it called? Besides the taking time and doing the 4 to 6 weeks, are there any other things like hobbies and things like that to kind of offset your, like when you have creative depression? Because that's a whole nother episode in itself, and that's some real shit. God is some real stuff.
That's a whole nother conversation. I think for that, you're going to need a panel of people for that.
Yeah, creative depression is very real, and I've definitely felt my share of it. But do you have like hobbies and things like that you do to offset it?
I do. But can I real quick just want to speak to what you just spoke about when you say you hired your COO, because that is the third or fourth thing that I learned in that experience that I've been talking about. I had to realize I had to build a team, or at least start handing things off to other people. There's no way at that level of what I was producing and still having a day job in that short amount of time that I was able to do that by myself. It just was insane. And I learned even today, I'm still hunting. So if anybody's listening to this and you looking for some work, I'm proud to be able to see. But I had to learn that for myself. You can't be creative when you're trying to focus on, invoices have to be sent. I got to answer all these emails. I got to say no to this project. I still got a life. I got a day job too.
Because, baby, you love your bar.
You listen.
I'm like, we're adjusted. And next thing I know, I'm like, oh, he in the bar.
So, yeah, speaking to that, what you just mentioned, like about hobbies and things like that, I have to allow because I'm a people person.
Yeah,
And so
you're
when the
extrovert.
pandemic hit, when we were in the house, I was just going stir crazy because I live alone. I don't even have a dog. So I had
Oh
nobody to
no,
talk to.
baby, my apartment would have been a shelter by that point.
Yeah. So my family got sick of me, especially during the pandemic, because I was FaceTime. Still to this day, I FaceTime everybody. I'm a people person. So I have to allow myself to actually go out, find like different networking events to attend. Even like you said, sometimes I'll go just hang out at a sports bar, watch basketball, and I'm meeting different people even then. And a lot of times I'll have my computer working. You will always find me somewhere working. And
But it's the balance of it all. It's like you're in
it's
a
a balance.
comfortable spot, and that also probably makes you even more creative.
Absolutely. It absolutely does make me more creative. And I have gained friends just from going out, being out. I've gained new clients from going out because people just will randomly walk up to you and be like, what you working on?
Yep, they sure do. I mean, just like you, a lot of people tired of being in the house. It's like, I think it's a real split vote of like random assholes who were birthed like during the pandemic, like you ain't got no damn home training, to like those really nice people who are just like, I just want to be around. I want to build community. Like it's a real split vote about how people are acting nowadays. So.
Absolutely. But let's see. So like you said, I'm at somebody's bar or trying to figure out when and how I can travel as much as possible. Because one thing about me, I'm going to get on a plane.
Baby, I don't even like planes, but I'm going to get on it.
You don't like planes?
I don't, but I get on. I just got off one on Sunday. I'll get on it. Don't like it, but I got places to go. I got places to go. So let me ask you this. So the
I was going to say, I do have a slight anxiety when it comes to flying, but.
No, you can keep that. I do planes when I can fall asleep. I'm like, if I need to make sure it's enough time for me to fall asleep, and that's it. Like, I don't know how people go earphoneless on planes. That I be looking at people, I be like, oh, you're some type of psychopath, because there's no way, especially if there's a child on this plane. I will literally be tuned into a podcast, anything, and even if I'm asleep, I still will have something going. I'm just like, I
have 3 pairs of headphones when I fly. I have my AirPods, and in case they acting up, I have my Beats, and in case they acting up, I got my good wired earphones that go into my iPhone.
You ain't gonna catch me.
I'm gonna have me something to listen to.
All right, so let me ask you. So the people that you worked with, who gave you this company that gave you this nice life lesson in this gym and business, if you could say something to them now about what you learned, what would it be?
Oh my God. I told them, actually, I literally, once the project was complete, and I'm still actually, engaged with some of the people on the team, I told them, thank you. I said, number one, what I mentioned earlier, I said, you all saw in me what I never saw in myself. I said, you all gave me an opportunity that I never foresaw coming. And I know this won't be the first and the last opportunity like this that I will receive. I said, so these are the takeaways that I've learned. And I said, don't take any of these things personal, but, I've now learned I can't deal. This project that we worked on probably worked on it for about 5 or 6 months. It's a project that probably should have taken at least a year. And we did 6 months. And so I now am like, these are the timelines that I'm going to commit to. These have to be the key players that I'm going to work directly with, not 17, maybe 7. And
you're such a class act.
Yeah.
To go out so gracefully. But I thank you for joining us.
I thank you. I want to come back.
Baby, the podcast is always open. And
I just invite myself.
Yes, you can.
I definitely did.
You can. It's true. You invite yourself, invite a friend, and it'll be 3 of us on here. Victor know how to do it. But thank you for coming. So other than that, I will holler at you guys later.
Thank you.
So did you enjoy the gems I dropped today? Or feel normalized after you push play? Well, feel free to like, subscribe, and share that One Time in Business with me, your host, Casey Renee. Now remember, we are all in this crazy shit together.